Lot's wife becomes a pillar of salt. Genesis chapter 19, verses 12 through 29. Sodom and Gomorrah were rich cities, but the cities became filled with evil. The people ignored God's blessings and grace. Only one family served God. That family was Abraham's nephew Lot and his family. Abraham heard from an angel that God was going to destroy Sodom, and he asked God to save Lot and his family. God listened to Abraham and sent angels to Lot's family. The angels said to Lot,
"We are here to completely destroy this city. You must leave with your family."
Lot told his family, his 2 daughters, and their husbands. The young men laughed at him. The next day, 2 angels said to Lot,
"You must quickly leave with your wife and children, otherwise you will be destroyed with this city. Run for your lives. Although you're curious, you must not look back. Don't stop anywhere in the valley until you get to the mountains."
Lot and his 2 daughters safely arrived at Mount Zoar, but his wife looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. God told Lot and his family to run away to save him and his family from the destruction of the evil city. He told them not to look back, but Lot's wife looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. If you want to become a great person, don't look back to the past. Work hard for your future dreams. Think about what you want to do in the future and pray for it.
소돔과 고모라는 풍요로운 도시라네. 하지만 하나님 주신 축복과 은혜 외면했다네. 방탕과 욕심 가득한 도시가 됐다네. 의인 10명 못 찾아 멸망했다네. 아브라함은 조카 롯의 가족을 살려달라 하나님께 기도하였네. 하나님은 아브라함 생각하사 천사를 보내 지켜주셨네. 어서 빨리 떠나라. 유황불이 떨어진다. 절대로 돌아보지 마. 어떤 유혹과 시험에도 멈추지 말고 산을 올라가라 하셨네. 그러나 롯의 아내 세상 욕심에 뒤돌아보았네. 소금 기둥 되었네.
Abraham offers Isaac as a sacrifice. Genesis chapter 22, verses 1 through 18. Abraham had his son Isaac when he was 100 years old. One day, God said,
"Take your only son, Isaac, whom you love so much, to Mount Moriah. Offer him as a sacrifice to me."
Abraham was very sad, but he obeyed God's order. He took 2 of his servants and wood to build a fire for the offering with him, along with his son Isaac. They walked to the top of Mount Moriah in order to worship God there for 3 days. Abraham made an altar there and placed wood on top. He tied Isaac's hands and feet and laid him on the altar over the wood. Then he took out his knife and lifted it up to kill his son. At that moment, the angel of God shouted to him,
"Abraham! Abraham!"
Abraham answered,
"Yes, here I am."
He said,
"Do not touch your son. Do not hurt the boy. Now I have seen your faith and love for God.
Abraham looked around and saw a ram caught by its horns in a bush. So he took it and sacrificed it as an offering to God. Abraham knew that he could trust God. He named the altar Jehovah-Jireh. This means the Lord will provide. From that day, everyone sacrificed animals as offerings to God. Abraham trusted and obeyed God. Abraham was going to sacrifice his own son for God, and God saw Abraham's heart and was very pleased. He sent a ram to be sacrificed instead. When you listen to God and your parents, you're praised and rewarded. Have you been rewarded for obeying your parents? Share your answer.
전능하신 하나님께서 아브라함과의 약속 지키셨네. 백세의 약속대로 아들 이삭을 주셨네. 사랑하는 아들 제물로 바치라고 하시네. 믿음 좋은 아브라함 하나님 말씀에 순종하였네. 칼과 횃불 손에 들고 이삭 등에 나무단지워 모리아 산에 3일 동안 올라가서 손과 발 묶어 제단 위에 바쳤다네. 그때 하나님의 음성 아브라함아 멈추어라. 너의 믿음 보았도다. 내가 너의 믿음 보았도다. 아브라함 눈 들어보니 아들 대신 수량을 보내주셨네. 여호와 이레 수량을 번제로 드렸다네. 하나님께 드렸다네.
Isaac's wife Rebekah. Genesis chapter 24, verses 1 through 67. Abraham was now very old. His son Isaac became a young man, so Abraham called his oldest servant and said, "Go to my homeland and find a wife for Isaac."
The servant left for Haran. He prayed to God.
God, please, show me how to find Isaac's wife.
The servant arrived at a spring in Haran and prayed again.
I will ask a woman for a drink. If she says, "Yes, certainly," and also gives water to my camel, then let her be the one you have appointed as Isaac's wife. God, I believe this is your plan.
Just then, Rebekah came to the well carrying a water jar on her shoulders. The servant said to Rebekah,
"Please, give me some water."
Rebekah answered, "Certainly, sir. I will draw water for your camels too until they've had enough." The servant thanked God. He gave Rebekah a gold nose ring and bracelet. He asked her,
Whose daughter are you? What is your name?"
"My name is Rebekah," said the woman.
"Do you have a room I could stay in?"
he asked. "Yes, come with me. We have room for you in my guest house," she said. Rebekah was a beautiful woman. She was the daughter of Bethuel, who was the son of Abraham's brother Nahor. The servant told Rebekah and her family about Isaac and all that happened. They believed that it was God's plan and sent Rebekah to be Isaac's wife. Meanwhile, Isaac was praying in the fields and saw his servant returning with Rebekah. Isaac and Rebekah fell in love. They lived a happy and faithful life. Rebekah was a kind-hearted woman. She gave water to the old man and also his camels. She was chosen to be Isaac's wife. When we are kind to others, we might get an unexpected reward. Talk about a time when you were kind to somebody.
우물가에 물길로 나온 리브가 아브라함의 종이 물을 달라고 하자 당신과 낙타에게 물을 드리겠나이다 하네. 그의 종도 기도 응답에 기뻐하네. 아름다운 리브가 하나님께 택함 받았네. 믿음의 아들 이삭의 신부되었네. 변숙한 여인 리브가 하나님께 은혜 받았네. 믿음의 어머니로 택함 받았네.
Jacob and Esau are born. Genesis, chapter 25, verses 20 through 34. Isaac married Rebekah, but she could not get pregnant. They prayed to God. God heard their prayers. He blessed them, and Rebekah became pregnant with twins. They fought each other in her womb. So she prayed to God. God answered, "Two nations are in your womb. One nation will be stronger than the other. The older brother will serve the younger." Finally, Rebekah gave birth to the twins. The older son was named Esau. His name means red with lots of hair. The younger one was born with his hand holding onto his brother's heel, so he was named Jacob. Jacob and Esau were twins, but they were very different. Esau was strong and good at hunting. Jacob was quiet and stayed at home. Isaac enjoyed eating the meat that Esau hunted. He liked Esau more than Jacob. Rebekah favored Jacob because he was more thoughtful and wise than Esau. Esau and Jacob's names had meanings. What does your name mean? What things can you do to be a good person? What can you do to make your name known to other people? Share what you want to become in the future.